What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country that you need to know about here on a daily basis. And oh boy, there's a lot going on here already here this morning or this afternoon. Let's jump right in here. Thanks so much for liking and sharing these videos. All right, here we go. Okay, first up, late last night, the only child of Elvis Presley, Lisa Marie Presley, died at age 54 after hospitalization of cardiac arrest. Yeah, so our thoughts and prayers go out to the Presley family. They said here in a statement, quote, "It is with heavy heart that I must share the devastating news that my beautiful daughter, Lisa Marie, has left us," said Priscilla Presley in a statement last night. "She was the most passionate, strong, and loving woman I have ever known." The announcement came just hours after Priscilla Presley had confirmed that Lisa Marie Presley was rushed to the hospital earlier yesterday. Los Angeles County paramedics were dispatched to a Calabasas home at 10:37 a.m. following a report of a woman in full cardiac arrest, according to Craig Little, a spokesman for the county's fire department. Property records indicate Presley was a resident at that address. Paramedics arrived about 6 minutes later. A subsequent statement from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department said paramedics performed CPR and determined the patient had signs of life at that time before taking her to the hospital nearby. She had actually attended the Golden Globes here on Tuesday, and there's actually a clip of her kind of jumping in on the actor who played Elvis, and you could kind of see. I watched that clip with my wife here. You could kind of see that in her eyes she was a little bit I don't know, a little bit visually a little bit off, a little bit off. You can watch that clip. I don't think I can show that clip here. I think it would be copyrighted, but you could go look it up here after the show if you wanted. But she just didn't quite look just look a little bit off. You guys can let me know your thoughts here on this if you watch it later. But yeah, so she's passed here at age 54. So our thoughts and prayers go out to, sometimes they say, some of the best, leave us too young, too early. So you guys can let me know your thoughts here on this. Very unfortunate. Next up, Attorney General Merrick Garland appoints a special counsel to investigate President Biden with the classified documents that have been found underneath his possession. Here's a clip of him speaking with a little bit of context. Take a listen.
On Thursday afternoon, shortly before I sat down in this chair to do this show, U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland appointed a special counsel to investigate the classified records found in President Biden's former D.C. office and now his Delaware home, too. Take a listen to that announcement.
On November 9th, the FBI commenced an assessment consistent with standard protocols to understand whether classified information had been mishandled in violation of federal law. On November 14th, pursuant to Section 600.2B of the Special Counsel Regulations, I assigned U.S. Attorney Lausch to conduct an initial investigation to inform my decision whether to appoint a special counsel. Based on Mr. Lausch's initial investigation, I concluded that under the Special Counsel Regulations, it was in the public interest to appoint a special counsel.
Let's be clear. The Attorney General is doing this because Biden lawyers found documents from his time as vice president at his home in Delaware and a former office he used in Washington, D.C. And that's embarrassing for the president. It is. I mean, this is the guy who said this last year.
When you saw the photograph of the top secret documents laid out on the floor at Mar-a-Lago, what did you think to yourself, looking at that image?
How that could possibly happen. anyone could be that irresponsible.
So irresponsible. Words that are coming back to haunt Joe Biden now. But look, the reason the DOJ learned about these records is because Biden's lawyers told them. And sure, it's possible lawyers will uncover additional records. But that is all still very different from the case of former President Donald Trump in Florida. He used his private residence / golf club / wedding venue to conceal the classified documents in his possession from authorities for more than a year until the FBI moved in with a warrant. He's accused of concealing them, of obstructing justice, of lying, which is why Special Counsel Jack Smith is now investigating Trump for all of that. Biden, meanwhile, as far as we know, is returning all of his documents willingly. Yes, he messed up, no question, but he's trying to fix things. That's how it should work.
So you guys can let me know your thoughts here on this. President Biden taking a lot of heat on this. Some Democrats even saying that potentially these documents were planted. Here is Democratic Representative Hank Johnson. Here's what he has to say. Take a listen.
Alleged classified documents showing up allegedly in the possession of Joseph Biden. There's so much that needs to be investigated, and that's what I call for, is for everything to be investigated. But I'm suspicious of the timing of it. I'm also aware of the fact that things can be planted on people, places and things can be planted, things can be planted in places and then discovered conveniently. That may be what has occurred here. I'm not ruling that out. But I'm open in terms of the investigation needs to be investigated.
Yeah, so interesting there. Former President Donald Trump had suggested that the FBI had planted evidence into his Mar-a-Lago residence. And then now Democrats suggesting that maybe somebody planted evidence on Biden. So you guys let me know your thoughts here on this. Both sides now suggesting that maybe evidence was planted. Yeah. As my father would say, what's good for the goose is good for the gander. I know you can't make this stuff up, right? Who knows? But now we have a special counsel appointed on both sides for Biden and for Trump to try to figure this out. So these are, independent previous, attorneys and stuff like that are going to be going through and trying to figure this out for the American people. Yeah, I don't know. New York congressman, newly elected congressman, who has admitted to lying about his past and all sorts of things, including his mother dying in the Holocaust, has again rejected calls to resign, saying that all 142,000 voters would need to ask him to resign for him to actually resign. But I know you can't make this stuff up. But initially, after flatly rejecting calls to step down, embattled Republican Representative George Santos told reporters yesterday his initial quote was, "If 142 people ask for me to resign, I'll resign." So this guy initially said if 142 people asked me to resign, and then he clarified it. Apparently he misspoke. He meant to say 142,000 people who voted for me would have to ask me to resign. Yeah. And he didn't even clarify that the 142,000 voters have to actually be from New York, even though he actually received 145,000 votes. Yeah. So, he's just, this guy is something else, right? He says, quote, "I wish well of all their opinions, but I was elected by 142,000 people. Until those same 142,000 people tell me they don't want me, we'll find out in 2 years." But remember that these people voted for him under false pretenses, because he basically lied about almost everything about himself. Uh, you can't make this stuff up. And remember that he didn't win by 142,000 votes. You know, that wasn't the margin of victory here. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. Also, you know, I had a lot of comments in the comment section from both Republicans and Democrats. Remember that the Nassau County GOP, his own Republican party, is calling on him to step down. And so far he's refusing. But my interesting thought here is that I had a lot of comments of people saying, you know, you go to buy a house, you go to buy a car, they have a background check, they have a credit history check, and you want to become a politician, a United States senator or House representative, there's no background check. You could just say whatever you want and nobody checks on it. Isn't that interesting? But yet you go to get a loan or you go to buy a house, buy a car, or get a driver's license, get a passport, and they're going to do every background check that there is known to man. But you go to represent our entire country, nobody does any type of background check until after you're elected. Then we're going to find out that you lied to the entire country. Something's got to change. Something's got to change. Maybe this will be the turning point for our country after 200 and some years, that we'll finally figure out that, like, hey, maybe we should vet these candidates, whether they're Republicans, Democrats, independents, whoever they are. We probably should know if they're lying to us before we vote them in, and the degree that they're lying to us on, right? Like if they're literally lying to us on like who they are, what their backgrounds are, what their mom died from, if they went to college, where they worked from, like, and you know, all this type of stuff here, we probably should know this, because like this is like the character of who they are and what they're telling us, and then like what they're going to vote for us, what they're going to do when they actually are an elected representative. Like, you guys let me know your thoughts here on this, but like, if they're going to lie to us before they become a elected politician, imagine what they're going to do after they're an elected politician, right? Yeah, so you guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments, but this is kind of a pretty big issue, right? So I'll keep you up to date here. Let me know your thoughts here. And remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you haven't yet, make sure to click the subscribe button down below, as it's completely free to do so. This way you won't miss out on new videos that come out here every day. Click the bell icon after you subscribe. And thanks so much for clicking the like button and the share button for us here as well. Here's some videos you can watch next. You can click here to watch my newest video next. Or here's our most recent video about Social Security changes that Congress is working on right now. So click on one of those videos next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.